Every evening at Rosie's Diner in a small town in Ohio, Emily, a 26-year-old waitress, noticed an old lady who came alone. The woman, with silver hair and tired eyes, always ordered just a cup of coffee, never food. One night, as Emily brought her the coffee, she quietly added a slice of pie and said, "It's on the house." The old lady smiled softly, whispering, "You're too kind, dear." From that day on, Emily began serving her a full meal, soup, pie, sometimes pancakes, never accepting $1. The lady always thanked her with the same gentle smile, leaving a small paper note under the cup that said, "Thank you for your kindness." Then, one morning, the old woman didn't come. Days passed. Emily grew worried. A week later, a black car stopped outside the diner. Two men in suits entered and handed Emily an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter from the old woman. Greater than, "Dear Emily. You didn't know this, but I own this diner's land. I watched how you treated everyone with kindness, never expecting anything in return. You reminded me of my late daughter. The diner is now yours. Keep feeding people the way you fed me, with love." Tears rolled down Emily's cheeks as she looked out the window. The sign outside now read, "Rosie's Diner, where kindness is always served. In a world where kindness still shines, welcome to Star of Kindness." Rosie's Diner sat on the corner of Maple Street in a small town in Ohio, the kind of town where everyone knew each other by name. The red neon sign glowed softly through the foggy evenings, and the comforting smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Inside, the floors squeaked, the booths were worn, and the jukebox still played songs from the 80s. Emily, 26 and full of quiet dreams, worked there 6 days a week. She wasn't from the town originally. She'd come looking for peace, after losing her parents in a car accident 2 years earlier. Rosie's Diner wasn't just a job, it was her safe place. Every evening around 6, Emily noticed a particular customer. An elderly woman with silver gray hair tied neatly in a bun, dressed in a faded blue coat, and walking slowly with the help of a cane. She always sat in the same corner booth, near the window where the last light of the sunset painted golden streaks on the table. Her name was never asked, and she never offered it. She simply ordered one thing, a cup of black coffee. No sugar, no cream, no food. Just coffee. Emily had noticed the way the woman held the cup, both hands wrapped tightly around it, as if drawing warmth not just from the coffee, but from the place itself. Sometimes, she would stare out the window for a long time, lost in thoughts that seemed older than the town. One cold winter evening, as snowflakes brushed against the glass, Emily watched the woman sit alone again. The diner was quiet that night, only a few truckers and a couple eating at the counter. Emily felt a sudden ache in her heart. She went back to the kitchen, cut a slice of apple pie, and placed it beside the steaming coffee. When she served the woman, the lady looked up in surprise. "Oh, I didn't order this," she said softly. Emily smiled. "It's on the house, ma'am. You've been coming here every evening, and I just thought you might like a little something sweet." The woman's eyes glistened. "You're too kind, dear," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's been a long time since someone did something like this for me." That night, the woman ate every bite slowly, almost reverently. When she left, Emily found a small paper note folded neatly under the empty cup. It read, "Greater than, thank you for your kindness, R." From that day forward, it became a quiet ritual. Every evening, Emily served her coffee, and always added something extra. A bowl of soup on cold nights. A stack of pancakes on Sunday mornings. A slice of pie when the sun set orange and soft over Maple Street. The old woman never had much money. Sometimes, she'd leave only $1 bill or two. Emily never mentioned it, and Rosie, the diner's owner, never asked. Weeks turned into months. The woman began to talk a little more. She told Emily small stories, about how she once lived near a lake, how her husband had passed years ago, how her daughter had moved to another state and rarely called. "You remind me of her," she said one evening, smiling faintly. "Same gentle heart, same eyes." Emily smiled back, though her own eyes filled with tears. "Maybe that's why we found each other." The woman chuckled softly. "Maybe so." Then, one morning, the booth by the window sat empty. The coffee pot bubbled, the radio hummed, but the old lady didn't come. Emily waited, glancing at the door every few minutes. Maybe she's running late, she told herself. But she didn't come the next day either. Or the one after that. A strange emptiness filled the diner. Emily kept cleaning the same table as if waiting for her to appear. The corner felt colder without her presence. Even the regular customers noticed. "Where's your usual lady?" asked one truck driver. "I don't know," Emily whispered, forcing a smile. "Haven't seen her all week." 7 days passed. Then, on the 8th morning, just as Emily was refilling sugar jars, a black car stopped outside the diner. 2 men in dark suits stepped out. Their presence felt out of place in the quiet little town. One of them walked in, holding a white envelope. "Are you Emily?" he asked. Emily nodded, her heart racing. He handed her the envelope and said quietly, "She asked us to give you this." Before she could ask anything more, they turned and left. The car drove away, leaving behind only the echo of its tires on the wet road. With trembling hands, Emily opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter on delicate stationery, the ink slightly smudged. It began, "Greater than, dear Emily. If you're reading this, it means my time on Earth has come to an end. I wanted to see you one last time but couldn't find the strength. You didn't know this, but I own the land that Rosie's diner sits on. For months, I watched how you treated people, the way you smiled at strangers, the way you helped without being asked, the way you fed me without expecting anything in return. You reminded me of my daughter, who I lost many years ago. You brought warmth back into my lonely evenings. For that, I can never repay you, but I will try. I've left instructions in my will. The diner now belongs to you. Keep it running. Feed people the way you fed me, with love." At the bottom of the letter was a single signature, Rosie Henderson. Emily gasped. Rosie Henderson, the original owner of the diner, who everyone believed had sold it decades ago and moved away. She realized the truth, the old woman had never left. She had simply returned quietly, disguised as another customer, to see what had become of her beloved place. Tears streamed down Emily's face. She pressed the letter to her chest and looked out the window, the same window where Rosie used to sit. The morning sun spilled through the glass, lighting up the booth with a soft golden glow. That evening, the diner was full again. Locals had heard about the story, about the young waitress who inherited the place because of her kindness. Emily changed the sign above the counter. It now read, "Rosie's Diner, where kindness is always served." Every day, she made sure no one ever left hungry. She kept a special booth open, Rosie's booth, and sometimes placed a fresh cup of coffee and a slice of pie there, as if waiting for her friend to return. And every night, as she locked up, Emily whispered softly, "Thank you, Rosie." The neon light outside flickered warmly, reflecting off the window where the 2 women once shared silent kindness that changed both their lives forever.